Isn't that the most annoying thing in the world? So previously we took care of the noise from the disc brakes, that ticking noise that you get when descending sometimes. This time, however, the ticking came from the bike itself, or from the frame, you could say. So this noise I got is one of those really irritating ones. It only appears once you stand up and when I put power down the right leg. It's easy to think that this is the BB creaking, especially if you have a press fit bottom bracket. The reputation they have for creaking and noise and ticking and everything is, in my opinion, a bit over exaggerated. It's usually a more simple solution than I originally think. My first thought was it's the pedal or the chainring bolts. But I still follow a particular order where I check everything. I usually go from the easiest place up and work my way through the bike. And usually I can sort it within 3 or 4 steps. So the first step I always do if one of these kind of ticking noises appear is give the bike a proper clean. Of course, you should always clean your bike anyway, but especially before you start sorting anything, give it a clean, a degrease, and re-lube everything. If you're interested in how I wash my bikes, I have done a couple of videos on bike washing as well that you can probably see somewhere around here. So I did this and took the bike out, and actually the noise disappeared just with a bike clean. Unfortunately, during my next ride, the ticking came back about 1 hour into the ride. So I figured that cleaning just temporarily masked that issue. So the next step for me is checking my thru-axles or quick release skewers if you're still on the old school technology. And it's pretty simple. Remove everything, and I use either degreaser or some kind of parts cleaner to clean off the threads on both the axle and in the frame. After that, I use normal grease. You can also use chain lube, but in this case, I used normal Shimano premium grease and put a bit of grease on both the threads and opposite side of the axle where it basically touches either the hub or the frame dropout. Do you call it dropout if it's a through axle? Oh well. I repeat these on both front and back, and lo and behold, it was here the problem lied. So there's probably got some gunk in between the frame and the axle, and as soon as you stood up and put some torque through the frame, that moved slightly and made that annoying ticking noise. So all good in the hood in this case. If this wouldn't have fixed it, my next part of the bike to inspect would be the threads on the pedal spindles, then the chainring bolts, and I will basically do the same there. Use the greaser or parts cleaner, clean the threads on both the cranks and pedal spindles, re-grease and reattach, and then give it another ride. If that wouldn't have worked either, my next step would probably be to remove the crank and try to remove any gunk around the crank and the bottom bracket, re-grease and put the crank back on, and hopefully that would fix it. Since removing the bottom bracket from a press fit frame usually means you need to replace the bottom bracket, so I will try to avoid that at any cost basically. Of course, if you've done everything else, it might be the only solution, but hopefully you can fix it before you have to go that far. Other sources where it can creak is actually the seat post. So remove the seat post, clean it off, and apply new fiber grip or anti-seize if you're using aluminium seat posts, etc. But in my experience, the areas where the noises in most cases have come from has been the skewers or thru-axles and pedals. So that's a good place to start at least. I'm curious though if any of you guys have had any other weird places where the creaks and ticks has appeared. Let me know in the comments. As usual, if you found this helpful or interesting or something, leave a like and subscribe if you feel like it. Always appreciated, and I will catch you in the next one. I got some more bike packing stuff coming up, hopefully soon. So, peace.